The NFL draft starts tomorrow. I ask who will be this year's Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. And it's not as it sounds. I'm not talking about who's going to come out and be all worldly performers in week 1 of the NFL season. We're going to talk about it. We might run a mock draft. And of course, did the Phillies win? Spoiler alert. Nope. Anyway, trending in the AM, taking your thoughts and opinions. We're live in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We're live as always, YouTube and Twitter, so guys, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that share button, and make sure you hit subscribe. We're sitting at 504 subscribers, so keep hitting those buttons. Keep sharing this show out. Continue to help me grow this channel. The goal, 1,000 subscribers when we go live for Philadelphia Eagles' first game of the season, Thursday in September, whenever that may be. So let's help get there. Like, share, subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it, guys. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, and we got a jam-packed show. This is the last morning show before the draft. There'll be no morning show tomorrow. So this is our final chance to give our thoughts and predictions for what the Eagles will do, should do, could do on Thursday night. We will be live starting about 7:40 p.m. for the entirety of the first round of the NFL draft. We'll talk all Thursday night long, but today's your last chance to get your morning show thoughts out on what the Eagles will and should and could do. And, we're going to talk Phillies as well. Phillies blow, well, they just blow. Yeah, that's it. They didn't blow the game. They just blow. Phillies lose again last night to the New York Mets. Christopher Sanchez, left forearm tightness. I know they're saying that he's okay. It's just precautionary, but it scares me. The Phillies hitters still stink. The bullpen still stinks. And finally, there's starting to be a little bit of a trickle of people that are joining the dark side on the hatred. Not hatred. Hatred's a strong word. The dislike of Rob Thompson. So we'll talk about the Phillies throughout the show, but we are also going to talk Eagles draft mostly here. And we're going to get to some of these comments in a second. The graphic that started the show, not the title of the show, but the graphic, says who can be this year's Quinion Mitchell and who could be this year's Cooper DeJean. And Duck, I'm just going to say it. I'll skip some of the comments, go right to yours here. There might not be a Cooper Q this season, okay? I don't mean when I say who's going to be this year's Coop and Q. I don't mean who's going to step in and be all-pro level players as a rookie right from day one. When I say who's going to be this year's Q and Coop, I'm asking who is going to be that player that Howie and us fans love, but have no expectations to be there at 32, okay? And then start to fall and get closer and get closer. And the option of grabbing those two players is there. There's a lot of great names, but sitting at 32, there aren't very many options. So who's going to be that guy that falls, that shockingly falls? I was reading something yesterday from Ed Kratz, Derek Carmen, plays for Oregon. Well, he might play for the Eagles. He might be that guy. There's a medical red flag question mark that popped up. Might fall. The Eagles brought in Kevin Winston Jr. yesterday. Well, it was reported yesterday that he came in. A guy that, was originally a first-round graded guy, but with injury issues, falling to the second, third round. What's the guy that we don't expect but would love to end up on the Philadelphia Eagles? What's up, Steven Fuentes? Morning. Phillies are just a stale and emotionless team with absolutely no pulse right now that is operating flat at all levels. Front office coaching players, hard to watch last night. This sums it up pretty damn well, Steven. Stale, emotionless, no pulse. All those things. The stale, that's the front office and the players. Emotionless, that's the coach. No pulse, that's the players. Literally, everybody is to blame. The Phillies are 13-11 now. But don't worry, Steven. You'll be told it's still a long season. It's still April 23rd, so don't worry. Good morning, Big Al. Hope you're doing well this morning. Definitely watch it Thursday. Maybe I'll send you a link. Maybe you'll jump in and join for 5 or 10 minutes. I don't know. When was the last time you jumped behind a mic, Peanut? We'll talk later. Rob Thompson should not have been re-signed after the World Series in 2022. I'm the only one that had the guts to say this after he led a magical run to the World Series, Duck. I'm the only one that had the guts to say he should not be our manager, that he's a bench coach that caught lightning in a bottle. I'm not afraid to say it, and every day that goes by, I look more and more right in that situation. That is 2 starting pitchers out of their last start with pain. Aaron Nola left with pain? I didn't see any Aaron Nola reports. That's no bueno. Now Ranger Suarez can't fix the bullpen, not that he would have. Now you kind of got to stick to Taijuan Walker a little longer. Now there's a little pressure to get Andrew Painter up. I hope Christopher Sanchez is okay, and I know they're reporting that he's okay, but, man, I don't know. I don't know. I really wonder if he survives the year. Rob Thompson, I'm going to set it. I'm going to set it at June 1st. Over under June 1st. That he's gone. I would say the under. If we keep playing the way we do, I think May 19th he will be gone. Coop and Q are a once-in-a-generational kind of luck. We'd be lucky to get one solid rookie starter. I get it. See, the thing is, when I talk about Cooper and Q, you want to hear a funny side story. I'm trying to log into my side screen here this morning, and I'm thinking of Cooper DeJean. I'm typing in my password to turn my computer on, and I'm like, it's not working. I did it again. It's not working. I'm like, let me click on, what am I spelling wrong? So show password. I was typing Cooper DeJean in as my password. That is not my password. I don't even know what made me start typing Cooper's name, but I did. But Cooper DeJean and Quinion Mitchell were not supposed to be available at 22 and 40 whatever that we got Coop at. There were a lot of Eagles fans and mock draft experts that had Cooper going to the Eagles in the first round. Quinion Mitchell, by all intents and purposes, was a top 15 pick, maybe better, on all draft boards. But because of the run of quarterbacks, etc., they started to fall. The run, wasn't it like 14, 15 straight offensive players to start the draft last year that got these guys to fall? So that's what I'm looking at. Who's the guy that we would love to see drafted, that we don't expect to be drafted, that could, surprisingly, fall? Walter Nolan is a name that could fall. James Pierce could go anywhere from 20 to 32. That's an interesting one. And Easy D. We're going to call him Easy D if he comes to Philly. That might not go over too well. All names that I would love to see in Philadelphia. All names that could go way before the Eagles pick, but be on the board at 32, depending on how things form. It's crazy. It's crazy. Good morning. Only one team we have to talk about is the Birds, and the other teams, yeah, exactly. I got crushed, Adam, and good morning to you, Adam, when I said, are the Phillies closer to the Sixers disaster than the Eagles Super Bowl? And everyone's like, you are nuts. They're so much closer to a Super Bowl title team, a World Series team, than a disaster like the Sixers. Not the case. Oh, I didn't hear the Luzardo. Luzardo didn't pitch yesterday. That was Aaron Nola, right? Anyway, semantics. Did not hear about the Luzardo thing. That's no bueno. And Luzardo's had arm issues in his career already, right? Didn't he miss time? Or I might be thinking of somebody else from the Marlins. He shouldn't have been re-signed after last season. They should have opened up the head coach for interviews. They should have opened it up after the World Series loss to interviews. He could be the front runner, but you had to at least examine other options. They chose not to. Rob Thompson does not make it past June 1st. Morning, anxiety is in full effect, guys. I know. It's anxiety. The way we got so lucky with the board falling last year excites me a little bit, because who knows what kind of excitement can happen this year, but also stresses me out because what are the odds we get lucky 2 years in a row? Steven says that guy that falls is Starks. I've seen Starks go in mock drafts as high as 15. I've seen him there at 32 occasionally for the Eagles. You know, I've been very open. I want Starks. He's the best safety in the draft class, in my opinion. fits our team. I think safety's the only need right now to start week 1 position filled that's not on this team at this moment. So I'd be okay. And now I do love the report that Kevin Winston Jr., Penn State safety, was brought in for a top 30 visit. The thing with Kevin Winston being brought in, he's a guy that would have been a first rounder, in my opinion, if he hadn't hurt his ACL, partial tear, I think they call it. He played 3 games last year. And I see good and bad. I wonder if Howie Roseman would take a flyer in the 2nd or 3rd round on somebody coming off an ACL issue. Because we took a flyer, I forget which year it was exactly, and it was Howie's decision to take a flyer on one Sidney Jones coming off of, I think Sidney Jones was Achilles injury. Maybe it was an ACL. A first-round talent coming off an injury. It didn't work out. And I praised Howie for taking that risk-reward type play. It didn't work out. That's fine. Kevin Winston Jr. coming in for a top 30 visit really, really intrigues me. Kevin Long should be fired today. How many years have we? But he's friends with Bryce Harper, Anthony. But he might get Juan Soto here. Ridiculous. Jalen Walker. That was Daniel Jeremiah brought up Jalen Walker to the Eagles yesterday. That he could fall. Not all the way to 32, but fall far enough down where maybe Howie's got somebody, I don't know, maybe 15, 16 on the phone ready to make a deal. Jalen Walker, I know who he is. He's a Georgia guy. Jalen Walker was not, I did no prep work on Jalen Walker. Jalen Walker is one of those guys, kind of like Quinion Mitchell last year, where I did no prep because there was no realistic expectation for him to come here. I'm looking at the big board on PFN right now. There's names like Jalen Walker, Shamor Stewart, Derek Harmon, where these names weren't realistically available to us. But now they might be. And I'm starting to get excited. Starks is my number 1 target, but Walker would be a really good as well. I don't think either of them are realistic. But what I think is, as Howie said, he's got a plan for all these options falling to him. Not just last year, the year before, too. What was that? The year before, too. I don't know. Are you bringing in former players as a coach for the Phillies? Adam, I've already said it, and I got crushed. Because whenever I make any negative comment about the Phillies, I get crushed regularly. I've already said it. You fire Rob Thompson, and you give Jimmy Rollins the chance. Give Jimmy Rollins the interim title. He can have Charlie Manuel as his home game advisor. Charlie Manuel's old and recovering from his stroke. Can't be around all the time. Can't be traveling all the time. You make Jimmy Rollins your interim manager, Charlie Manuel your home game interim hitting coach, and have somebody else hitting coach on the road, and you go from there and see how the season goes. That's what I would do. I'm not a fan of bringing in former players. It's kind of a very Flyer-esque thing to do. But I don't know. Something I would consider. Crazy, bold, shocking, but maybe it would work. Starks is my number 4 overall prospect. And the fact that he might be there for the Eagles to trade up to get it like 20, 22 is crazy. Jalen Walker's number 8. These are guys that, if you go back and watch the show from weeks ago, months ago, that were not even debatable that they would be there for us. I feel like the Phillies will get a hard ass now since Topper's buddy act didn't work. Yeah, they need a Larry Boa type to really shake things up. Now, Larry Boa might be a little too outdated to take up that job at this point, but they need that style. Who's this? Oh, all the different tight ends that have, okay, gotcha. What's up, Rick? How you doing this morning? 504, yes, we are at 504 subscribers to start the show today. So hit that like button, hit that share button. please subscribe if you haven't already done it. But let's get to 20 likes today. Let's get to 20 shares today. Maybe let's gain 2 or 3 new subscribers today. Phil, would you draft Mike Green if he is available? Mike Green, if he's available. Let's see here. Edge from Marshall. Why do I want to say no? I haven't done much Mike Green work recently. So I remember telling myself no to Mike Green. And I don't remember why, Anthony. Maybe someone could remind me. The Joe Girardi light methods are getting predictable. Mets put together very good at bats for Sanchez, but he was also hitting the middle of the plate a lot as well. Yeah, the beginning of the game, I was kind of working and watching at the same time. The middle of the game, I was driving home from work, watched the end of the game. So I don't know how Sanchez looked, obviously. The arm issue that creeped up. 20. That's what you were talking about. 23, we got Carter and Nolan, and that wasn't expected to happen. I mean, there were people that were predicting Cooper DeJean to the Eagles in the first round. We got him in the second. There were people predicting the Eagles would draft Nolan Smith with their first pick, not Jalen Carter. So great point, Duck. Great point. So 2 years in a row we got lucky, in theory. Could it be 3? And who is that guy that you would just be jumping up and down for joy if the Eagles got him? What if Derek Harmon falls? Now, there is reports per Ed Kratz, Sports Illustrated, that some kind of medical red flag popped up on Derek Harmon. Now, I doubt Derek Harmon, even with the red flag, would fall out of the first round. But what if Derek Harmon's sitting there at 28-29 and is available? Do you trade up 2 spots to get him? Do you wait to see? Does he fall into the second round? Red flags have a tendency to drop players. Medical red flags. Why do we think Nakobe Dean went from a first-round prospect to the third round? Derek Harmon's an interesting name to keep an eye on. No, I know they most likely will not, Rick, draft the safety. But for as predictable as Howie is, he's also unpredictable. And if you look at his top 30 or his 30 visits, the people he's brought in 29 guys right now. He's brought in more safeties, one of which is a first-round graded safety, one that was a first, that's now second. He brought in more safeties for top 30 visits than edge rushers. 29 guys have been reported to come to Philly. Only 3 of them are edge rushers so far. So that tells me 6 defensive tackles, interior defensive line. Tells me that safety is at least on his mind as a position in need. Now, will it be Starks in the first round? Probably not. But the fact that he's brought in as many safeties as offensive tackles, as many safeties as interior offensive linemen, it's kind of crazy. Howard is due for a subpar draft. Wish it away. Now, Howie's not going to have a subpar draft. I have the utmost confidence in every one of his decisions, whatever they may be. He's earned the right to have a grace period. Mike Green is a beast. I don't know why. Does he have a personal issue? Does he have like a character issue, Rick? There's a reason why I took Mike Green off of the list like a month ago of names I would even consider coming to the Eagles. So I'm not sure. 0 chance the Eagles have Mike Green on their big board. Why is that? Big-time character issues. Okay, so that's exactly what I was thinking. There has to be a reason why I have him nowhere near my board anymore. 2 sexual assault allegations. Okay. Allegations, though. True. Also learned yesterday that Maxwell Harrison, cornerback, first, second-round target, got charged with sexual assault and had an Eagles visit, something to monitor. Yeah. Big Dom will figure it out if it's true or not. I mean, turns out that Big Dom is the one that helped get A.J. Brown's car back when it was stolen. So, yeah. Feel like Walter Nolan is more than likely going to be the pick, but draft can be so unpredictable. Yeah, here's the thing, Rick. I was going to call you Walter. How far does Walter Nolan fall down the draft board before Howie says, I really want Walter Nolan? Do I trade up to X spot to ensure me getting him? Walter Nolan, to me, should be and is probably the number 1 target for the Eagles at this point. And I want to bring something up. I shared it out yesterday on my screen so I could just check it out here. Yeah, he obviously was. There's only 5 first-round graded players, well, borderline 5, that were brought in. Walter Nolan's one of them. Some of these other top names, Starks, Easy D, probably won't be there. Walter Nolan's a guy I could see going as high as 22, 20, 22. But I also could see being there 28 to 32. If he's there at 28, I'm Howie. I'm making a call and moving up for Walter Nolan. I'm not going to let Walter Nolan's talent slip through my fingers. Make the move. We've got $1 billion day 3 picks. Get me Derek Harmon. All right, so here's the question then. We got one Walter Nolan. We got one Derek Harmon. Say Walter Nolan is there at 25 and Derek Harmon's there at 20. It's going to cost you more to move up to 20 to get Harmon than 25 to get Walter Nolan. Who are you willing to trade more for? How far up are you willing to go for Walter Nolan and Derek Harmon? Would trading Tanner and drafting a quarterback in the second or third be out of the question? Just saying, oh, what are you doing? Are you buying into the Joe getting jiggy with it? Jiglio saying that we need to draft Jalen Milroe or whatever his name is from Alabama? Get the fuck out of here. I'm okay with trading Tanner McKee. 1,000% okay with trading Tanner McKee. If you can get a second or third round pick for him, you do it without hesitation. If the Saints want him, making the call. Tanner McKee and the number 32 pick for whatever the Saints have, 8 or 9, whatever it is. Get the deal done. Howie may draft a quarterback in the 6th or 7th round. I know he doesn't have picks there, but he's going to end up with a pick in the 6th or 7th round. He will draft a practice squatter to play quarterback. No doubt about it. But we're not talking second, third round. I don't care the comparisons that are being made out there. Not happening. I'd be jumping up and down for joy if Eagles somehow got James Pierce. Probably going to have to jump ahead of Detroit to do so. Detroit does. Need edge help. James Pierce was not brought in for a top 30 visit, though. Diebler won't be sleeping the next 48 hours, and we'll need some Walter White's finest. I really hope they can sucker a team into trading something good for Tanner. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, I'm not fine with DTR, whatever his name is. As quarterback, too, you'd have to bring in another guy. But, yeah, I'm for it. Working on a video for you're sicko. You're a sicko, Dives. Sicko. Define subpar. Howie subpar or other. Exactly. Howie subpar is still better than 25 GMs in the NFL. That's right. 504. Welcome back, Eric. 504. It only goes up. So, people, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Hit that share button, guys. We're just going onward and onward, up and up. Big-time character issues, I get it, but Jalen Carter had character issues too. Different kind of character issues, Dante, and what's up? Good morning to you, Dante. The big thing we've heard Howie Roseman say when it comes to domestic violence and the sexual assault and those kind of things are what we look out for, or how he looks at as a big no. Jalen Carter had the car accident situation and some immaturity issues. But that's about it. And he's shown those immaturity issues even as early as or as recently as this past year. Mike Green ghosted Virginia for no reason. Just picked up his stuff and left. Great pass rusher, but he's the Callahan of the draft. I feel like the Eagles leak out news. The Big Dom is involved with things on purpose, but isn't true. Yeah, the A.J. Brown situation, I mean, they just used his whatever they call OnStar now to find the car. Is OnStar still a thing? I don't even know. They did use GPS tracking, so I'm sure Big Dom didn't really do much. Walter Nolan and Derek Harmon are the dream at 32. I'll be doing a shot of beer for every offensive player taken on Thursday. You want to do a power hour, Dives? Shot of beer every minute for an hour? See how that draft show goes. But see, the thing is, they're the dream at 32, but the odds that both of them aren't there at 32 is very high. How far up and how many picks are you willing to trade to move up to get these two guys? I honestly, for some reason, I know Derek Harmon is listed as the better prospect, but I'm kind of more interested in getting Walter Nolan than Derek Harmon at this point. I have Walter Nolan rated higher. He would be tier 1, and yes, I'd be willing to give up a third rounder for Walter Nolan. Okay, I'm good with that. I'll do that. Absolutely. Joe getting jiggy with it has been, and you know what? I love the guy. He's been gracious. When I decided to do different parts of my career without being pressed, he has reached out to me multiple times to congratulate me, to give me advice. So Joe Giglio, the person, is a pretty cool dude. He doesn't even follow me technically, but he's reached out to me. He's been a guest on this show in the past. So the guy himself, I have no problem with. But yes, he does put out some unnecessary clickbait stuff that I just don't even want to hear. But Tanner speaks Portuguese. That's true. That's true. I don't know if it's true actually. Only Phil would trade for the next trade the next. I know. I'm sorry. I want to trade the next Tom Brady. Doubt Eagles draft a quarterback as they have the next time. Oh, so hold on. We go from one comment to the next comment. Oh my God. You are a McKeister for sure, Rick. Tanner would be a better bet than an unknown rookie. He should definitely be worth a second-round pick. Perhaps trade the Saints for an early second and keep. Yeah, hold on. Let's page down here. The Saints' second-round pick is number 40. How about Tanner McKee for pick 40? Kellen Moore would actually probably consider that, knowing what his quarterback situation's like. Knowing that Derek Carr's probably out for the year, I'm telling you, Kellen Moore, do the deal. Howie Roseman, offer the deal. Love me a good dude. I haven't done a power hour in a long time. And the real question, Dodds, is are you part of the Century Club? Have you ever been a part of the Century Club? That's the real goal of a really good beer drinker. Okay? It's basically a power hour with an extra 40 minutes tacked on. So 100 shots of beer for 100 straight minutes. It's a lot harder than people realize doing a power hour or a Century Club. Very, very, very difficult. Big Dom stopped the pandemic. Yeah, Big Dom found the source and beat the source to give up. I worry that the team saw Tanner play and now they won't give anything up. So the opposite of it. Howie knows what he has here in McKee. Absolutely zero chance Howie trades him, as he is the Hurts injury insurance policy. Yeah, I mean, look, this is to rag on you, Rick, because I know you're a McKeister, but no offense, if Jalen Hurts gets hurt significantly for a significant amount of time, Tanner McKee, DTR, whoever you draft in the second round, Jalen Milroe, nobody's saving the Eagles. This team is built for Jalen Hurts. McKee and Goddard and a third rounder. So you want to trade up McKee, Goddard, and a third rounder to the Saints for what? Their first overall pick, which is number 9? Sure, 8, whatever. Do it. Done. Howie is an aggressive person. Howie has no problem being aggressive. Howie says it's in his DNA to be aggressive. Howie is going to. Well, who was it? Daniel Jeremiah was talking about, while other GMs are zigging, he's zagging, or vice versa. While they're zigging, he's zagging. Everyone's saying this is a weak draft class. Everyone's saying this is depth, not star power. Well, Howie Roseman ain't just going to sit idle. If there's only 4 or 5 players out of 400 that Howie wants, he is going to make sure he gets them. And he's going to be super aggressive to get them. Because why not? We don't need 6 backups. We need 2 or 3 guys that are going to contribute right now. We need to think about 26, 27 as well. Howie's not messing around this draft at all. Rick, I don't know what's worse. Your Phillies World Series prediction or Tanner McKee can win us a Super Bowl. I don't know what is worse. Oh, my God. I'm going to write this down, Rick. Rick, you're not on Twitter, are you? For Mitchie Poo, this is a poll. That's going to be a Twitter poll after the show. We'll see. We'll bring it to the table. I became a proud member of the Century Club in 2011, stationed in Alaska. Yeah. I was on a cruise. I did the Century Club with Eric Hawthorne, singer on the Galaxy. I believe that would have been in the Caribbean somewhere when I did that. I still remember. It. Don't worry, Rick. I'll just put your name and I'll put your YouTube channel linked in the poll too. We're gonna do this. Which one of your opinions are crazier? Is what the poll is gonna be. If the Eagles are serious about taking the best player available, then Howie needs to draft safety Nicky E, Easy E, MN Worry. Is that how you say it? I don't know. Yeah, I mean that's another guy that'll probably go ahead of Starks, honestly, speaking at this point. A lot of mock drafts have him going about the same, maybe a little earlier than him. I'm still at the forefront of saying, Mister, that Eagles and safety are the biggest biggest need there. Massively. The biggest issue is safety. I love Charles Grant from William and Mary. As people talk about people more, I start watching film and doing research. Love them. Love the idea. Just remember, 8 offensive linemen out of 29 visits so far have been brought in here. 4 on the interior, 4 on the outside. The Eagles, I'll set it at 2 minimum offensive linemen get drafted. At least 2. Charles Grant was one of those, 4 offensive tackles that were brought in as well. Well, look, the offensive linemen that the Eagles brought in, Josh Connerly Jr., Wyatt Millum, Marcus M'Bow, which I do like, Donovan Jackson, Charles Grant, Anthony Belton, Jalen Travis, Dylan Fairchild. They're the names on the offensive line that Howie Roseman has brought in so far. You give me any 2 of them. Give me a draft where we get Charles Grant and Marcus M'Bow. Dude, your offensive line, you just be giving the rich Jeff Stoutland even more riches. Dallas Goedert worth a 3rd-round pick or a 4th-round pick. He's worth at this point at best a 4th-round pick. I think most likely if he gets traded this weekend, and I think he will get traded this weekend, he's either going to be part of a package, like I've seen a bunch of rumors with the Giants and Kayvon Thibodeau, like Dallas Goedert and Thibodeau with draft picks being flipped around, or you're going to get a 5th-round pick for him with some kind of condition that could turn into a 4th. He plays X amount of games, snaps, the team wins a Super Bowl, like whatever kind of conditions they want to throw in there. It's going to be Goddard for a 5th with a condition. It would probably be games played condition because we already know Dallas Goedert spends a lot of time in the tub because he gets hurt all the time. So, yeah. Sleeper O tackle to watch, Chase Lunt from Connecticut. I don't know why I want to say this, but Connecticut doesn't strike me as a powerhouse school when it comes to tackles or football. He's 6'7", 304 pounds, 6.45 on his RAS score. Right now, PFN has him ranked 129. Obviously, that is just taking that with a grain of salt. So that'd be a 4th rounder right there. It's possible. Obviously, not a name brought in. They've also brought in 5 cornerbacks, 4 safeties and 5 cornerbacks, 3 of which have first 3-round grades on them. Trey Amos, whatever you want to call him, Maxwell Hairston, and Jacob Parrish. I don't take lightly, like others do, who Howie brings in. When Howie brings you in, he's interested in you. Now, he doesn't always get you because, you got to see how the board falls. But when you have 29 visits and the second most brought in position with 5 is cornerback, tells me where Howie's mind is. You know what Howie hasn't done? He hasn't brought in a single tight end for a visit. He hasn't brought in a single wide receiver or quarterback. Hasn't only brought in 1 linebacker. Those positions are far at the back reaches of Jalen's mind right now. The drafting of a tight end that we all want in the third round might not happen. He might bring in a depth piece, but there's a significant chance that we don't draft a tight end. Again, you got Calcaterra, you got Harrison Bryant, you got Kylan Granson. I like to look at the numbers and what they tell me. It tells me tight end ain't going to be it. But cornerback definitely is good. Cornerback, edge, defensive tackle, safety. Those 4 positions in the first 3 rounds will all get addressed. Well, 3 of the 4 will. Ozzie Trapaolo is a mountain of a player, 6'8", 315. Could be a player to add depth at tackle position to get in the 5th round. How many 5th-round picks are we even going to get? He's got 4 right now. Max would be 2. I can see him trading out some of those picks and pick up 6th and 7th rounders as well. We'll see. This is, if you haven't watched it yet, the Eagles did like a Q&A pre-done up video with Howie Roseman, reading questions off of cue cards. And you can just tell how excited Howie gets this time of year. It's like, for some reason, I feel like the negotiating, the trading, the interaction with all the scouts and other GMs, the wheeling and dealing, this weekend to me is probably Howie Roseman's favorite weekend of the year because of all the things going on. He's a guy that doesn't like to sit still, probably, in my opinion. It's kind of crazy. Like, I just picture Howie Roseman like drooling, like with excitement. He was talking about how he has to sometimes take a walk when he's got a long break in between picks to keep himself from trading more just to get back on the clock, just to get on the clock. Guys, we got a bunch of people watching right now. We are hitting the 19 concurrent viewers, so that means there should be 19 likes on this video. If all 19 of you could click share, and if all 19 of you haven't yet, please hit subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. Starting the short show at 504 subscribers. The march to 1,000 by opening kickoff is on, guys. I'm a big fan of Eagles season. Good morning, little G. Hope you are well. Let's go more Georgia. Go get me the Georgia Bulldogs. Bring them in. That's what I like to say. Hope you are well, little G. But Howie, if you haven't watched it, it's funny. I watched it. It was like a 5-minute video on the Eagles Twitter account, all their social medias probably, of Howie answering questions to a camera. And they showed a clip in it, like a cutaway, to young Howie in his first draft room as GM. And he was a skinny, nerdy-looking, lacked self-confidence appearance kind of thing. Like, he just looked like the accountant. Now Howie exudes all this confidence. He's got this big, bold personality. He's definitely grown into his shoes or his suit. And I love to see the evolution of Howie Roseman, the person, the GM, the confidence. Winning 2 Super Bowls will give you that confidence. Being banished to the equipment room and then winning 2 Super Bowls will give you that confidence. But that video, I recommend everybody watching that video. It was fun. UConn is Division I FBS. They have a full ride scholarship for their players. They have talent. I'm not trying to. There's something about when I hear UConn in football, and I don't know why. It was Pee Wee Roseman. It was Pee Wee. That little cutaway, if you know what I'm talking about, News, to him in a draft room. I was like, damn, he's changed. Damn. Just my opinion, but I don't see a major hole that could be filled with a rookie. I would honestly let the draft play out and pick best available and or trade out of the first round. Yeah. Very well could happen. We could be sitting here Thursday night, Peanut, and wait all night long and no pick gets made. It very well could happen. It could. It depends on what people are willing to offer for it. But I think a guy like Starks could step in and start immediately at safety. Here's the thing. I put it out there before, Peanut, if you want to ask. And guys, make sure you click on Pixelated History's YouTube page. I got it linked below. Or you just click on his profile picture and subscribe for him and Evan. I'd greatly appreciate it, and I know they would as well. You might see a famous bearded guy in his most recent video for a half a second with some AI edited portions of my body, but whatever. Would you rather Malachi Starks at pick 32 or Jalen Reed with your third or fourth round pick in Justin Simmons. I think both are great options, honestly. But something about Justin Simmons constantly wanting to play here, but not playing here, rubs me the wrong way that I don't know if some Eagles fans overvalue him a little bit. Don't forget, Eagles have a Georgia safety on the roster that was a first-round pick 2 years ago. Was Seen a first-round pick? Is that who you're talking about? I don't even know if it's Seen or Sign. Cine. I didn't know it was a first-round pick. But yeah, they did bring him in at the end of the season. Is it pronounced the C pronounced as an S, like Seen, like Seen, or do I pronounce it Sign, like a sign, like Sign? Like, how do you pronounce it? But anyway, I didn't know he was a first-round pick. I know he was another Georgia kid. Did not know he was a first-round pedigree type player. That's very interesting. That kind of intrigues me even more now. That's very interesting. Marshawn, what is up, my man? The Phillies do suck. We have talked a little bit about the Phillies today. Over under June 1st, the day that we get a new manager to lead this Phillies team. Marshawn, and don't forget, don't forget, we'll be live for the whole draft tomorrow night. 4 hours. Going live at 7:40 tomorrow. All right, we will stay on the air till the Eagles make their pick or announce that they trade out. We're at 22 concurrent viewers, so 22 likes on this video should happen right now. 22 shares. Please, more subscribers. We're at 504 to start the show. But Marshawn, over under June 1st, where we get a new manager. Who sucks worse, the Sixers or the Phillies? Well, I mean, both had immense money spent on immense amount of talent, and both are disappointing. I don't know who sucks. The problem is, I think the Sixers suck worse because it's going to be harder to fix the Sixers. I think it's pronounced Sin-E. Okay, I'm gonna trust you on that one, Rick. Phil, you know I'll be here for the. I appreciate you, my man. Always a bit. Always one of the core. Phillies are way more disappointing than the Sixers. I don't know. Maybe. Always hear his name is Seen or Seen. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think anybody knows how to pronounce his name. Seen. I don't think anybody. I can't trust anybody on name pronunciation around here. A lot of mock drafts have Gray Zabel being available. He looks like the part, but from North Dakota State program makes me weary. Ginger, yeah. You know, it's funny how one guy from one school can just ruin that whole school for us forever, basically. He's ranked number 27th overall in PFN. He's a guard, could step in and play guard. Very high RAS score of 9.49, 6'5", 312 pounds. He'd be your starting guard. Not Tyler Steen immediately, but came from North Dakota State. With how he dip his toes, I mean, I know he loves dipping his toes into the Georgia water regularly, but I don't know if he would dip his toes into those North Dakota State waters again. I don't know. Yeah, I will never trust anyone from TCU. So, Marshawn, I put it on Twitter. I'll try to do it for Thursday night show or for next week. I was listening to my first ever podcast. It was immediately after the 2020 draft. It was released on April 26th, 2020, 5 years ago, my first podcast. And I was not a fan, as if you at the time, and then re-listening it reaffirmed that I wasn't a fan. I also wasn't very confident to say negative things. You could totally hear me trying to criticize the move, but also be nice to the Eagles at the same time when I was talking about it. I was really, really all about trading up for CeeDee Lamb in that draft, which I'm glad we did. I'm glad we got Jalen Reagor, because if we didn't get Jalen Reagor and we would have traded up for CeeDee Lamb, we wouldn't currently have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, the greatest wide receiver duo in football. Patience is going to be paramount. Yeah, I'm patiently waiting for a new manager to flip the script and get this team back on track. That's where my patience is with the Phillies, Rick. Patience waiting for John Milton and Dave Dombrowski to axe Rob Thompson. We're not jumping ship. We're not fair weather fans. We call a spade a spade. We see what is right in front of us? A bad baseball team. Exactly the same problem. And since the London series, we are basically an average baseball team, a 500 baseball team. You say fair weather, I say honest and realistic. I would say you're more fair weather. Fair weather that you see everything through rose-colored glasses. I don't think the Phillies are struggling or slumping right now. This is who the Phillies are. They are an average baseball team. I remember a lot of people wanted Howie fired after drafting Jalen. We know nothing about the team and how it's exactly. Yeah, look, I remember I listened back to the first 25, 30 minutes, and first off, it's a horrible listen. Horrible listen to my first podcast. The audio was horrendous. Terrible. Terrible. But I sat there and I tried my hardest to criticize the Reagor pick. And then I spent time talking about how much I disliked but loved the Jalen Hurts pick. Said I didn't understand it because of the Carson Wentz situation. And at the time, I was still a big Carson Wentz fan. But loved the player and wanted him to go somewhere where he could get playing time. And he was coming to a city that didn't want him because we were all still hyped on Carson Wentz for the most part. I'm not cranky. I'm actually in a great mood. I'm trying this week to be uber positive, even if it's fake. Despite customers pissing me off left and right, employees pissing me off left and right, I'm being as positive as humanly possible this week, K1. I thought you were the one that always says this year can't be compared to last year. But we're going to compare this team to the 2018. This team is far from the 2008 Phillies. That team had heart. That team had a pulse. This team doesn't. Even Jalen knows the city didn't want him that night. Yeah, I mean, nobody wanted Jalen Hurts, in 2020. I was forgetting. I know Jeremy Chin was a name bounced around. There were a lot of names bounced around that the Eagles could have picked and filled a lot of holes in 2020. But they chose not to. 2008 Phillies had Utley, Howard, and Rollins all in their prime. And no offense, this year, or this crop of Phillies, it would be Harper, Schwarber, Turner, I guess would be the three biggest names on this team right now. Harper, I guess. I'll take Utley, Howard, and Rollins over all of them. When you become wise with old age, you see patterns that predict the future. It's a gift and a curse. Yeah, I see the pattern. I see it. And yes, the Phillies at some point, and Rick's going to be in the chat during this whatever stretch it is. There's going to be a stretch over the next 2 months where the Phillies go on a 10-2 run, 11-1 run. And Rick's going to be like, see, I told you. But when it all comes down to it, this Phillies team is who they are. I wanted the Eagles to get Hurts. I just never thought they would. I love Jalen Hurts from his college days. I hated how Alabama handled him. I wanted Bama versus Oklahoma in the championship game his senior year. So bad. And I think he got knocked out in the semifinals, Jalen Hurts in Oklahoma. But anyway, I just didn't want Jalen Hurts here because I wanted Jalen Hurts to have a chance to start. I didn't expect the drop-off from Carson Wentz that we got. Guys, YMCA, like, share, subscribe, please. Wentz hasn't been the same cognitively since the concussion and has a very Embiid approach to taking care of his body. There's a whole bunch of things in this. Yes, Wentz was not the same after the concussion he took from Clowney, Jadeveon Clowney. Dirty shot, didn't get penalized, didn't get fined for it. The stories, Nooms, about how he was just uncontrollably crying after the concussion in the locker room. Because when you have that bad of a concussion, your body just spontaneously cries. Scary. It's scary. I'm surprised he still plays football. I guess if you still can collect the paycheck, you do it. But yeah. A very Embiid approach to taking care of his body and his mind. He's mentally weak, too, Carson Wentz. Love sports because it constantly defies the construct of the absolute. It's a deep statement right there. Phillies have regressed every year since the World Series appearance. They have. Absolutely. There have been two constants since then. Rob Thompson and Bryce Harper. Almost ready to go. After the draft settles down, if the Phillies are still playing average to bad baseball, let me tell you something. My wrath is going to go towards Bryce Harper. Phillies fans won't be happy till they win 3 World Series in 1 year. That's incorrect. That's totally a false statement. I was so impressed that Jalen left Alabama and then became the best quarterback in the country at Oklahoma. I loved Jalen Hurts' mental side from day one. The way he handled benched in that championship game and was still there to prop up Tua when he led the comeback, where he was willing to sit behind Tua the next year and be a great teammate. The leadership ability, the person Jalen Hurts is and was, showed so much in college. And that's why I was such a huge Jalen Hurts fan. Because I think to be a successful quarterback, to be an all-time great quarterback, to win multiple championships, you've got to have the mental fortitude and the leadership ability to be successful in the NFL. Got new for you. It's going to get worse for the Phillies, but baseball is a battle of attrition. Got to have fortitude. I have fortitude. I still watch every game. I still pump my fist on every good play. But I can also be realistic on this show and say, they ain't winning shit. That's so unacceptable. 13 likes? Guys, there's 20 people watching right now. Just click the button. It doesn't cost you a thing. Click the share button. It doesn't cost you a thing. Click the subscribe button. It don't cost you a thing. We're talking here on Trending the AM. Philadelphia Phillies, Eagles, NFL draft. Let's get it going. Come on. We just want one. I know, that's all. We've had 2 World Series in 175 million years. I think we have the right to request one more. Hurts is a man and the man. Now, I didn't get a chance to read it. I've read some clips from it. But Jalen Hurts was obviously a special feature in Men's Health magazine. By the way, he did mention in the article by the time that it was published he'd be married. So congratulations to Jalen Hurts for marrying his longtime girlfriend, Bree Burrows. Little link to Joe Burrow there. It's her. He married Joe Burrow's little sister. I'm just kidding. But I heard there's a lot of great content in that Men's Health magazine article. Again, about Jalen Hurts the person, Jalen Hurts the man, Jalen Hurts what makes him such a special leader and franchise quarterback. Hart needs to cut out the raw milk. Hart comes up with big hits plenty of times, and I will become heavily hated when my Bryce Harper wrath comes out at some point this summer. And I don't know when it's going to be, but it's going to happen. But, man, let me tell you something. His plate approach is atrocious. His plate approach. And even with Kyle Schwarber hitting behind him, he's just up there hacking at everything. Where Nick Castellanos has cut down on his swing and miss rate and cut down on his swinging at balls 5 feet out of the strike zone in the dirt. It's almost like Bryce Harper caught that contagious thing. Love don't cost a thing. Love is expensive. Love actually costs you. It costs you your life, your bank account, a wedding ring, a wedding, your house, your dogs, everything. And then when it doesn't work out, you lose it all anyway. So yes, love does cost you everything. Jalen Hurts for president, sure, dude. I don't even need to know his agenda. I would vote for Jalen Hurts instantaneously. I don't care which party he registers to. I would vote for Jalen Hurts like that. Bree Burrow is exceptional in her industry. She's a PM for IBM business unit. Oh, she's a super smart girl. And I read an article in the past about their relationship, how they separated, not separated, so to speak, but separated like distance-wise to work on the careers. Jalen to become the starter of the Philadelphia Eagles, her to finish out her degrees and get this job with, I forgot if it was IBM or something else, but I'll say IBM since you said it. They're both laser focused on life, their careers, and being the best at what they do. And she keeps him grounded as well. Hopefully last night doesn't put Casty into a tailspin. I think it's going to get the Philly season, and this is one thing me and Rick will agree on. This Philly season is going to get worse before it gets better. Now you might lose Sanchez and as Big Al said, Luzardo for any stretches of time with arm soreness. The offense is getting worse, not better, which is crazy. The crazy thing about this team's offense right now, we're finally getting what we want. Schwarber out of the leadoff spot and Harper getting protection in the lineup. And we're getting worse. Stott's actually performing in the leadoff spot. I think he had a couple more hits last night. 2 more hits out of the leadoff spot last night. Average up to over 300. Schwarber there to protect Harper. And yet they're getting worse. It's crazy. No, Mitchie Poo. No. No. Mr. President, what is your plan for the foreign policy? Keep the main thing the main thing. Dude, I love it. Whenever go into battle, God forbid World War whatever happens, he would just run the tush push and the war would be over in one day. Jalen Hurts' military strategy would be the tush push to end any threats. Yeah, he's talking like a true single man that'll be single for the rest of his life. Baseball players are superstitious little crybabies. Yes, it will put Castellanos into a tailspin. They are. Maybe that's why that this whole lineup change hasn't helped. Because the lineup changes make sense, but on the flip side, ruined whatever kind of vibe certain players had. That's blasphemy, yeah. Sixers season just got worse and never got better. The Philly season will not. I hope so, that it gets better. But Marshawn, you might be right. The injuries are starting to creep in. The lack of faith in the management is starting to creep in. I'm telling you, I'm this close to having to call for the. I've already called for the Daryl Morey, Nick Nurse reset. Elton Brand's already trying to get out of Dodge for like the second straight offseason. It might be time. Dave Dombrowski, Rob Thompson reset. Don't give up the military secrets. My bad. That's my bad. The offense is so boring. They showed Castee snacking on an Uncrustable. Yeah, I don't get upset when players are eating, on the sidelines or benches. It don't bother me like it does other people, Adam. But I know it bothers people, and that's fine. I get it. Phil, do the YMCA. We're talking about the YMCA. See, I could do the whole thing. I know it. It's kind of hard to do sitting at a desk with a microphone in front of you. Harper's turning into Golden Glove first baseman. What a ball player. Yeah, and he's swinging at 9 straight curveballs out of the strike zone every at-bat. Bryce Harper needs a wake-up call. Bryce Harper needs someone to tell him to grow the F up. Someone needs to tell him, sit your ass down if you're not going to be a team player. Somebody's got to shake the baby of Bryce Harper. It has to happen. It has to. It is so, and Marsha, I'm bringing in the Sixers name a couple times in this chat. Phil, this is a YouTube, not Signal. No, yeah, sorry, my bad. We don't talk politics, and now we don't talk military strategy either. It's so funny when you look at the Phillies and the Sixers and the Eagles. When you put the Phillies and Sixers on one side and the Eagles, how far different they are. I know football will always be bigger in every major city than the other sports. But just the structure of the organizations, the way they're run, the connection to the fans, the optics they put out to the fans. And you can strip away the Super Bowl victories. If the Philadelphia Eagles were exactly the same but lost in the Super Bowl, the vision, the way they discuss things with the fans, the way they approach everything, it's so night and day compared to the Phillies and the Sixers. It really is. Crawford's approach to the plate is starting to improve a little bit. Yeah, I mean, Johan Rojas is looking like, as a starter, like he's doing better. I mean, he's got his average up to looking now 316 after one hit last night. Brandon Marsh was running yesterday. They said they're going to send him down get a couple of bats in a minor league game and should be back soon. I don't know what to do with the outfield. I don't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't mean to bring peace to the world. My apologies. He's adjusting to veteran pitching, and that's what we want to see. Which one? I mean, there's a few people. The problem is that these players are adjusting, but the results aren't coming. I'd be a lot less worried about the offense if the bullpen wasn't so atrocious, or I'd be a lot less worried about the bullpen if the offense was a little bit more consistent. The problem is both of them and Aaron Nola are struggling. Crawford in AAA. Gotcha. This is a little off topic, but there's no rules against steroids in baseball during the Bonds, McGuire, Sosa era. They should be in the Hall of Fame. Mister, I agree that those guys should be in the Hall of Fame. Well, I don't know if Sammy Sosa is a Hall of Famer. Barry Bonds for sure. Mark McGuire kind of close. Roger Clemens for sure. Not, and I have a different reasoning, not because of the rules and what the rules were versus what they are. And before I say why, Mister, it's also funny. When I was a 20-year-old kid, I disagreed. When I was a 22-year-old kid, I disagreed. I didn't think they deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. But the mission statement of the Hall of Fame clearly states, and I quote, to preserve the history of the game. How can you worry or want to preserve the history of the game when all-time greats like Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Pete Rose are not in the Hall of Fame? The goal is to tell their story of what they did wrong, to teach the youth of what they did wrong. But you can't teach the youth if you don't actually put them in there. You're ignoring a portion of the history instead of preserving a portion of the history. You can't ignore the history. You can learn from your mistakes. I want to see a 7-game series of the best storied players, most exciting game ever. Yeah. Who's your all-time steroid era baseball team? I'm going to write that down. That's an interesting one there. I really like that. McGuire or Rafael Palmeiro at first base? Bonds would obviously be your left fielder or right fielder or DH, whatever. Clemens would be your starter. That's obvious. I don't know if Piazza ever got caught with steroids, whether he'd be my catcher or not. I'd have to think about it, though. I thought it was the history and integrity of the game. The word integrity might be actually part preserve, but when you're trying to say that preserve the history and you're eliminating history, the integrity of the game was ruined because of a portion of history in this game. So you put them in the hall to teach the kids, the youth, about a very important part of history and how it shaped the game. You put Pete Rose in to teach this is what you do not do. Imagine Jose Canseco hitting that baseball to the edge of the flat earth. Yeah, Jose Canseco. Interesting cat, man. I don't know if Sammy Sosa, though, would be in the Hall of Fame if steroiders were in. I know he had that one really great summer versus McGuire, but overall, I'm not sure if I'm putting Sammy Sosa in. I've met Sammy Sosa. I've hung out with Sammy Sosa before. Yeah, I'm flexing. I hung out with Sammy Sosa. Frank Thomas was clean. I don't know. I saw a new report that had his name in it, so I don't know if Frank Thomas was clean or not. I used to say this all the time, Marshawn, that there was literally not one single name in the history of baseball that you could tell me I've got proof that that person used steroids, and I'd be like, really? I'd be totally shocked. You could tell me Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins were on roids. I'd be like, yep, no surprise. You can tell me any player in the history of the game was on roids. You could be it would be believable. It really would be. Guys, we're past the top of the hour. So you're watching Trending in the AM on the STT Sports Network. Please hit that like button. It's free to do. Hit that share button. Absolutely free to do. And please subscribe. We start the show at 504. Love the goal. The big picture goal is 1,000 subscribers by Eagles kickoff week 1, where we will be live. We're going to try to be live for every single Eagles game right here on the STT Sports Network. So, guys, please do me that. We'll be live Thursday night for the entirety of the NFL draft, first round. Mock draft. Duck wants a mock draft. Duck gets what he wants at the top of the hour. This is the last time we're doing a mock draft because the draft's Monday or tomorrow. I got to take that guy's name off of there. Let's do a mock draft for Duck and Company. Jose Altuve on roids would be a bit of a stretch. Yeah. Not really. There's no such thing as a stretch when it comes to steroids and people that use them. All right, let's page up to the top here. Resume draft. Let's see what happens at 32. Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I'm not sure. That's why I didn't know who he was. Mock draft height. That's right. So let's see here. Let me go to the screen here. So before we look at the proposed trades, we're at 32. Right now, Jahad Campbell's on the board. Trey Amos. Don't hate that. Josh Connerly. Oh, be very hard to pass up on taking Josh Connerly here at pick 32. Trade offers. 32, 168 for 59, 91 in a second. 32 for 53, 84 and a second. 83 and a future first. Oh, my God. I hate when teams dangle future first. All right, I'm going to put them back up. You got a Pittsburgh trade option there. Trading way back, but picking up a first next year. 53 and 84. 59, 91. They're your options. There's your top of what's available right now. Personally, I lean instantly to Josh Connerly with this pick. But that's where we're at. Let's see some comments here. Doug Gamblin, I wouldn't be shocked. There's no shocking me when it comes to steroids. Altuve is a cheating piece of, POS. Nothing that loser does would surprise me. Absolutely. He's black and white like the cookie and milkshake. Yeah, exactly. Take the Pittsburgh trade. Oh, my God. You guys really want that first rounder, extra first rounder next year. I'm doing what you guys want. This is the mock draft. We've got multiple people saying take the Pittsburgh trade. So this means we're not picking until like 64. All right? You guys want it? We'll do it. We'll run this through and see what happens when we get on the board here in the second round. All right, before we look at the trade options, here's what's on the board at 64. TJ Sanders would be a name I would be interested in. Marcus Mbao, definitely interesting to me. Tate Ratledge, definitely interesting to me. He could start at right guard instantly for us. There are some interesting names here. Kevin Winston Jr., love Kevin Winston Jr. as a risk-reward play. Trade offers, 64, 191 for 90, 101, and 127. 64 and next year's 7th. For 72, you're trading back 8 spots. And that's it. So trade with the Bears, trade back 8 spots, trade with the Rams, and get a bunch of depth in the 3rd and 4th round. Or one of these names. Remember when Carlos Reeves was busted for Adderall? Yes, I do. And I wasn't shocked about it. I like the comment, though. You want Winston Jr. now at 64. Interesting. Duck wants Ratledge. I don't know. I like both those names. I need more picks, more votes. Who would just trade back the whole draft just to troll us? I've done that just for shits and giggles. I've come away in some mock drafts that I haven't posted with like 10 extra picks next year. K1. Treple, yeah, absolutely. Will Winston be there the next time we pick? I don't know. That's why I was looking at this trade back with the Bears because he should be there at 72 still. But, man, I really do like getting Tate Ratledge here with this pick. But I need more. I get in trouble for picking too quickly and not listening to the people. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting for you guys to decide who I should do. We're dead even on Winston and Ratledge here. Got to go one way or the other. If it's up to me, I'm going Ratledge, but that's just me. Let me see here. What else? Again, Mbao isn't a bad option either. Anything down here? Shamor Turner, tight ends. I don't think actually we're drafting a tight end. I'm going to shock you guys. There's going to be no tight end drafted. Ducks pushing hard for Ratledge, K1 or Marshawn. But I like it. If we come away with Tate Ratledge, I'm a very happy man. Very happy man. So, you know what? We're going to make me happy. We're going to take Tate Ratledge there. Now we're back on the board at 83. With picks 83 for 94 and a 4th. 83 for 89 and a fourth. Who's on the board? You got a defensive tackle, it's Shamar Turner, Kyle Kennard. Actually, don't like what's here. Gunnar Helm can reach for a tight end. Me, I'm potentially moving back with Cleveland or using. I'm considering both these trades. 89 and a fourth. We take Ratledge there, yes. When trading out of the first round, you forfeit having the fifth-year option. Have to be smart about it. I get it. Judkins, let's go. Trade back. Trade the Houston trade. Take the Houston trade. Manipulating the board like a madman. We got multiple take the Houston trade. All right, let's see here. Let's take it. All right, let's see what's on the board. Now we could trade back one spot and pick up a fifth. We could trade back 5 spots and pick up a fifth. What is on the board now at 89? Still Turner. Still a bunch of names here that could be drafted. Just paging through all these names. See what jumps out. All right, so at 89, we could trade back one spot, pick up a fifth, or trade back 5 spots and pick up a fifth. I love how the difference in the value there. You gotta kind of take the LA trade, right? Kind of have to. If I'm getting a 5th round pick for trading back one spot, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if that's true or not. You kind of got to take that one trade back, right? Why not? All right, now we get the same offer again from Cleveland here, but I think we stay at 90 here. Right now, we've only drafted one player so far. We've picked up 4 future picks. We've only taken one player. It's time to actually build our team a little bit here with pick 90 and 96. Go with the defensive tackle, Shamar Turner. When we get to 96, I'm going to be curious to maybe take Jalen Reed, safety from Penn State. I know he's way down the board. I'll be very, very excited with that. Take Turner. I agree. Judkins should have been the pick. Sorry. Can't go with just what one person wants. I got to go with what everybody wants here. All right? We're taking everybody's opinion into account here. I'm not making a mockery of nothing. You make a mockery of me on a daily basis. And that ain't wrong. Yeah, I'm taking Turner here, like a few have said. Now let's see what's there at 96. You got 122, 4th and a 5th rounder. All right, Kyle Kennard. I really want Jalen Reed. All the way down there at 121. I don't think he'll be there at 134. But these are the names that are on the board. You tell me who you want. Zy Alexander, Deion Walker, David Walker. Running back. There's quite a few running backs and wide receivers on the board. Sixers made a mockery of the process. They made a mockery of their fan base, Marshawn. A mockery of their fan base is what they did. Plain and simple. But that's what it is. It's not true. It is not true at all. Am I saying Tate Ratledge right? Shamar Turner? I don't know. They're not. They're pretty easy, actually. If the Eagles trade back the best available wide receiver, Jalen Royals, there are people that want the Eagles to draft a wide receiver. I don't say it, but that is what people want. So nobody's answering. Nobody's wanting to know. What's this trade again? 96 and 168 for 122, 4th and a 5th. That's tough to give up to go that far back. Guys got to give me a pick here. I don't think I could justify taking Jalen Reed here at 96, but I might. If you guys don't give me an answer, there's only one offer, Duck, and that's 96 and 168 for 122. Really trading back that many 26 spots, 28 spots for a 4th and a 5th rounder? next year? Do we really need that many more? You want a running back? You really want me to draft a running back in the third round? Jaden Blue would be available in like the fifth round. So you don't got to take him in the third round, fourth round here. I want Reed. You know what? F you guys. I'm taking Jalen Reed. I'm taking one of my favorite. Although Dylan Fairchild, we already got a guard. So we're going to take my favorite safety after Starks, Jalen Reed here. That's what we're doing. I'm going to do one thing for myself. I'm going to take Jalen Reed. He's definitely not going to be. I've seen a lot of mock drafts have him going between like 98 and like 105. So he is not going to be there when we get on the clock in the fourth round. All right, now we're at 134. Real quick. We got 134, 61, 64, 65, and 68. We got a lot of picks here in the 160s. No trades are offered. Right now, we've got a guard, a tackle, and a safety. We can go with Chase Lunt. I heard somebody talking about him earlier today. Was it Mista that mentioned him because of UConn? Anthony Belton was brought in for a top 30 visit. Love that idea there. RJ Minkins, we already got a safety. Malachai or whatever more, another safety that could have been had. Looking for names. Devin Neal, running back. We could get him later, maybe. Logan Brown, offensive tackle. Reed and Reed, 20. There's a T-shirt right there, right? Jaden Blue. Rutledge is an awesome run blocker, but I don't know if he's a Stoutland kind of player. Interesting. I don't know why. I'm not sure. I'm not a Will Shipley believer. I think they draft a running back for sure. For sure. Lunt is good. I do think so. Scatterbull. Well, yeah. Phil, thoughts on Braun aligning with Seth and Paul Heyman. Smart. Keeps the title, keeps him out of the IC picture, which he's above, but keeps him out of the heavyweight title picture, which he's not ready for, and puts him in a major program without a title on the line. Because this whole alignment of these four is going to go on probably till Survivor Series, War Games, just so you know. So it's a smart move, but I'm not watching wrestling much. I'm just keeping up with it online. RJ Harvey would be a fun pick. Running back UCF. I don't know. I'm looking at Lunt, and I'm looking at Brown, and I'm looking at Belton. I'm looking for tackle with this pick personally. They got to get that Lane Johnson replacement in here. I'm looking at those three tackles personally at the spot. That's just me. We got to we only got 12 minutes left of the show today. We got to fire through this. I love that for Bronny grew out of the IC title. Imagine Braun and Seth winning the heavyweight and undisputed titles. Yeah, I think you're going to also see Becky Lynch join their stable. Instead of the evolution, they're going to be the revolution. For sure. They need one more. They need Becky Lynch and one more person for this stable. Becky Lynch will be it. I don't know who the other one will be. I know everyone's saying Austin Theory, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm leaning towards Lunt here in this position. So let's go Lunt. Now with these 4 picks in like an 8-pick span, this is where you get a little creative. This is where you can draft a quarterback, a tight end. This is where you get your running back. I do like Seth McLaughlin. I do like Elijah Roberts. A whole bunch of names down here that I like a lot. Jonah Monheim, love him because he can play all the offensive line positions. There's a lot of depth positions here. Fanny has great vision and powerful runner. Yes, Becky Lynch, people are saying either Carmelo Hayes. I would actually prefer Carmelo Hayes to get a little bit more serious, but also Theory, I could say it. Yeah, probably. I don't hate it. I don't hate wrestling, but I'm bored with it. Even with the new exciting things. Very, very bored right now with it all. We're taking Elijah Roberts here. And then we are going to take McLaughlin would have been the guy I would have taken. Let's take Jaden Blue here because y'all want a running back. So we'll take Jaden Blue here at 164. Got to take those 2 letters out of there. Then we'll take Jonah Monheim with that pick. And the last pick's on the board. We take a quarterback? Notre Dame quarterback? No, not taking a quarterback. Wide receiver? Who's this tight end? 6'5", 241. It's got to be a name that falls down here. Where's Kobe King? Has Kobe King come off the board? There we go. And Kobe King, done. Mock draft done. We fired through those last couple picks. What's up, Zach? How you doing? It's the and factory demands it. Yeah. Roberts is a little older, but he's also a physical beast. Agreed. Trick Williams has been a name teased in to join. Yeah, you already got one really young guy with lots of potential in Braun. I don't know if you need Trick and Braun. You could have gone Trick instead of Braun, but that's it in my opinion. Here's our mock draft. Most of the fan picks were kind of fired through. It's crazy that we got another first-round pick now next year, 4th and 2/5. If the first 4 to 5 picks came out, even 6 picks, came out like this, would you call this weekend a success? I'd say yes. You got a defensive tackle for the rotation. You got your future starting safety. You've got Lane Johnson's replacement, and you got your starting right guard. Done. And tons of trade bait for next year. Yep. We could be a top 5 pick next year in the draft with all the pick capitals we got next year. Running backs usually have a short shelf life in the NFL, but Skidabaro can contribute right away. Gotcha. All right, let's take this off the screen. Stop share. Back to my beautiful face for the final 5 to 7 minutes of the show. Guys, what's happening this week? It's the draft. No show tomorrow morning, but we will be live. I got it set for 7:40 p.m., but we'll see what time I get home from work. Might start at 7:30, might start at 7:45. Somewhere between 7:30 and 7:50, we will be live for the entire first round of the NFL draft to see what the Eagles do. If the Eagles trade up, it might not last to the end of the first round, but until the Eagles make their decision, we will be live. And then we'll probably skip Friday's show. If I'm up here till 11, 12 o'clock at night, it'll be interesting. I didn't say a replacement. I said part of the rotation. Okay? I said part of the rotation. Okay? Because, again, he's not a replacement for him. Part of the rotation. Tons of good depth there. Yeah, getting Lane Johnson's replacement in the 3rd round is crazy. Gotta like that. Look, I think that was a great mock draft right there. Wrestling feels more like scripted stuntmen. The illusion of it feeling real to the wrestlers and audience is gone. Yeah, the social media age is kind of ruining the illusion of wrestling. For sure. I get that. Absolutely. Anyway, we're going to be jam-packed this week. We're going to have a lot of fun. Meanwhile, we still got the Phillies to deal with. We still got the Sixers to deal with. We're what? We're 1 day away from the NFL draft. We are 19 days away from the draft lottery reveal for the NBA. So as soon as this draft is over, we can start counting down the days to find out if the Sixers even get a draft pick. Kind of interesting. Just keeps rolling on, right? But what I need is the Core 12 to make sure everybody's hit that like button, to make sure you all hit the share button and you all click subscribe. That's what I need. I need more than 504 subscribers. I need more than 20 likes per video. That's what we need. I'm waiting on the approval from YouTube for super chats. That should come soon. We hit the things. We're in the pending phase right now. Hence the new intro and outro music. Because my last set of music kept getting flagged. And they need me to update that. So we're patiently waiting. Patiently waiting. But anyway, it's going to be exciting. Please trade Tanner. Look, I want to. I do. Who's going to be your backup quarterback? I don't know, Anthony, but I want to. If I can get that 2nd round pick of the Saints for Tanner McKee, I would do it like that. Like that. But I don't know. We'll see. You didn't like the tulip? The tulip? Well, we got new ones. You missed the intro. You'll see the outro, which is an edited down version of it. But yeah, DTR ain't a quarterback too. But yeah, I get it. Sixers will get screwed by the NBA not getting a top 5 pick. Probably. Would not shock me at all. It's still like, what, 30-some% that they don't keep their pick? I mean, they'll say, well, the odds said it, you know. It's going to happen. You didn't like the tulips? I kind of like the beat to the tulips. I like the beat to this new one, too. Here, you know what? We're not ending the show. I'm just going to play it for a second. What do we think of that? That's just a little short version of it. The intro is 33 seconds. The outro is only 15. So I like the new music there. The new music's got a nice little vibe to it. Was it? My bad. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Tell me if you don't like the new music. Does Lane Johnson's steroid use keep him out of the Hall of Fame? Nope, it does not. So why would it to the others, right? Exactly. I get that point right there. And anything would be better than the Tulips, according to you. Yeah, look. I got a new intro, the same intro and outro, just with different music. I guess I didn't have the right copy. I don't get how copyright stuff works with music. You go to the copyright-free thing, you pick something, and it doesn't work. But whatever. Got to make sure that as we get monetized here on this channel, that we don't have any strikes or any issues. So I'm no video expert. I'm no, creating expert like that. So you hurt my feelings every day, K1, with the eye contact and the aqua Bowman. So it's okay. I cry myself to sleep every night with the things you say. But it's okay. Honesty is the only way we get better as people. I'm sorry. I wish I would have known. I kind of liked it. I wish I would have known. Now I hate it. Knowing that you hated it, now I hate it, K1. I tried to find it again to see why. That's why it was getting copyright dinged, even though it was from the YouTube copyright-free library. And I can't find it on there anymore because the artist probably saw people using it and changed their mind and didn't want it to be copyright-free. Anyway, it's time to wrap this shebang up. The sensual side of trending, yeah. Is that what it is? Anyway, we got to wrap this shebang up. It's time to get to work. Time to make the dough, literally and figuratively. Lots going on at the pizza shop this week as well. But we will be back tomorrow night. Oh, don't forget about Philly Press Box Radio. Hold on. I forget. Has they posted the show? I forget who the guests are on the show today. I do. He hasn't posted the show yet, so I can't shout it out for Chet. But check out Philly Press Box Radio tonight. They got two great guests. I'm trying to remember who they are. I forget. Let me Google here. Let me go to my messages here from him. Text. Messages. John Brazier, Phillies director of fun and games, and Mark Eckel, former Eagles beat reporter. Guests tonight with Chet and Bill on Philly Press Box Radio live right here at 7 p.m. on the STT Sports Network. Again, that's why you hit that like button. That's why you hit that subscribe button, guys. Turn those notifications on. That's the bell at the bottom of your screen. That way you don't miss a thing. Guys, it's time to wrap it up. It's time to say goodbye. One final time. Like, share, subscribe. I will see you guys tomorrow night for our live draft party. Maybe the Super Chats will be on by then. We'll see. Everybody have a great day. Go Birds. Bubbles up.